Ladies and gentlemen, welcoming you back to the Stage 1 Round 3 part of our Deluxe Tournament. Now, we're back in F Block once more by popular demand to view another of Estacion's glorious fights. His bracket was nothing but mean dragons, but this dragon of 14 is going to hold down fast because down in the bottom corner, bearing the blue gloves, we've got Mascoon back on the prowl again. Meanwhile, his new opponent up on the top, bearing the red gloves, we've got Scarlight wielding his tried and true, his brand name, Varga Dragritter, a very mean dragon seeking for revenge for his fallen DE compatriot. And then with me, once again, I have my lovely co-host, Dragnoa Shadow. How are we doing, sir?
I'm feeling pretty good. The last match we did was amazing. I'm hoping this one's really good too. I know both of these decks are insane, so let's just see how things play out, I guess.
Right. We have probably like the epitome of stability and the epitome of aggression like going against each other right now. So this, I don't know if this is going to be as evenly matched as the last one. I think they're just as strong in exact opposite categories. So I don't know what's going to happen when these two forces clash, but we're about to find out. Now then, gentlemen, are we ready to start?
As ready as we are ever going to be.
I'm still waiting for someone to define what ready means in this context.
It means that you go on my mark. Stand up. Za. Vanguard.
Ooh, pretty
Estacion!
Heated blade ardors.
All right, Matt's already starting off strong with Estacion for intimidation purposes.
I have to always say it. It has to be said. Always has to be said. Anyway, let's just go straight into the first turns here. do this, do that, and that is all.
All right, Estacion already going straight away to its turn 1. Nothing much happens for now. Once it comes to turn 2, though, this is where Estacion starts to get the blast token. It can get its order going, and everything happens on turn 2 onwards. You know, despite being a very stable deck that is like really built towards the late game in terms of its ramp and ability to recur cards, this deck has a surprisingly strong early game. But I guess it's just Stoicheia Plant Rush in a nutshell. How familiar are you with the Stoicheia Nation these days?
For me personally, outside of like maybe one or two decks, not that like familiar with certain things. I know this deck is insane though, just because like right out the box, apparently it's really good, and then if you add in like a few more support cards, it's just insane. So I'm curious to see how this is actually going to play out, because I've never actually seen this deck actually play before, so this is a special treat for me.
Ooh, all right. So even our co-commentator is going to get to take out the popcorn and see what happens. All right, discarding a very interesting card, Heat Stamping Dragon, in order to ride into grade 1. Scarlight is running this Heat Stamping Dragon, which not a lot of people understand what this card is all about, but it came out in DBT 06, and what it does is that when the Vanguard attacks, if your opponent has 2 or less rear guards, you can place it into the soul in order to give your Vanguard 10,000 power, and this is the key part until end of turn. So he seems to be prioritizing a lot of power on the Vanguard with that particular tech choice. All right, riding into Rising Star Virgilla and getting the energy generator. Rising Star Virgilla being a very popular ride deck choice these days for Varga Dragritter, because Blaze Zambar just kind of lost love by that point. You have so many stronger pieces that you want to throw on board anyway. That's just kind of taking up space. So this seems to be a very prudent move to run this card, getting the draw as well. And that we'll see if there's going to be any more early board commitments, or this is all we got.
Well, you don't care about CB that much, so we're just gonna start punching you with the bunch of dragons. So,
all right, calling down Storm Slasher for beatdown.
8k on your Vanguard.
I'll be taking this hit. No triggers there.
Alright. And then swing in for 10, because my Vanguard gets an extra 2k. And, drive check. Another Storm Slash, alright.
Another Storm Slasher for the potential early game full of Ignacio. Alright, we've got dry drives and drier damage checks.
Oh, my turn to you.
Alright, draw for turn. We are going to discard. Ride. Skill of View, Soul Blast. Reveal the big Estacion!
And with a powerful war cry, he gets the linchpin of the deck, the Blast the Token, or as the community likes to call it, the T-posing chicken nugget.
You're the only one that I know that calls it that.
Oh, you need to find the community. All right, now let's go ahead and see what else we've got here. So Estacion Grade 2, this is probably one of the interesting things about the ride line because both the Grade 1 and the Grade 2 skills intersect at the simultaneous moment of riding to Grade 2. So not only do we get Blast Token, but we also get access to the Vital Blaze Blast Order. Now, to explain for the audience out here, and also for my co-commentator at this point, when Vital Blaze Blast is placed, it is put as a gauge for the token. Now, the token's gauge allows you to give a 5,000 power increment to your front row for every 3 gauges in its gauge zone, and this is active as long as you have Estacion as your Vanguard that's grade 3 or greater. Oh, and of course during your turn. Now, Vital Blaze Blast, very cool order. Looks at the top 5 cards of the deck and calls anything that's equal or less grade than your Vanguard, and I do mean anything as long as you're on Estacion. But furthermore, it puts itself as the gauge, so it also helps you as a ramp tool here. And this ramp is pretty easy to build because unlike the Grand Fia archetype, which any token that you ever generate became it and automatically, this doesn't force you to put those tokens as gauges. Rather, you can suck up 2 to 3 rear guards of your choice every turn with the token to draw a card. So it's it allows you to have an easier time building your board presence here. Now calling the Burrow Mushrooms, a card that by moving to Soul can call 2 more tokens, and suddenly you've got 2 columns hitting 15k and 1 column hitting 10k.
I was gonna say bunch of plant tokens. Like honestly, this is really aggressive on turn 2. I feel like in retrospect, this makes you want to go like immediately like first with this deck, just so you could pop off early.
Oh, 100%. Estacion has basically no reason to wait. Almost none of its cards scale to the opponent being at grade 3 or greater, so if it goes first, it's beatdown time regardless. Now, putting in 3 tokens into the soul to draw a card, this is a trademark element of Maz. Maz plays this deck relatively more defensively from what we've seen so far in the tournament, so he's not going to prioritize the early game rush if it means he can get more card advantage and a greater ramp degree for the later game. And now calling down Ignacio. Now, Ignacio has a stun effect if you have multiple gauges, but unfortunately needs to be called by a card ability in order to get that effect. So for now, it is a 15k attacker and also 10k shielder. So it's got a good dual purpose there. Swing for 10 with the Autumn Dragon on the Vanguard. Let's see if Scarlet takes it.
I will just guard that with a Storm Slash.
Right. Okay, Storm Slash will be the sacrifice for that attack.
15 to the van.
I will let that go through.
No trigger there.
Alright. Draw a damage check for me. Heat stamping.
No defensives. Oof.
And 15.
Yeah, I'll take this one as well. Rokusei.
And just like it was in the previous turn, dry drives and drier damages.
I hope that means in the long term, like this actually means there's going to be a lot more trigger checks later on down the line, hopefully.
Oh, for sure, and that's going to favor Varga Dragritter especially. Being able to, if you, as most people know, Varga Dragritter really gets a tempo swing if it's able to get a trigger on the Vanguard swing, especially right away. If it's a critical, oh wow, it's next level. All right, we're going back to Scarlet here.
Beginning of ride phase, or when I would ride, I can instead Soul Blast 1 because of my grade 1, and I can ride into my grade 2, which will be Boulder Axe Dragon. Here he is. And I already went to 6. I will move Storm Slash down, and I will just end it there. Well, actually, no, we go aggressive. We go aggressive. Calling Heat Stamping.
All right, calling another Heat Stamping to the field there. So being able to protect Storm Slash, we still have a nice column going on. All right.
All right.
Yeah.
Swinging for 18 to your Vanguard.
I was going to say, this has the potential to be incredibly risky because you do leave it vulnerable a bit.
Right. Oh,
and especially if you're trying to save that from
trigger damage check. Yep. All right, that's looking good for Maz there.
All right, I will attack your Vanguard with Boulder Axe. Skill of Heat Stamping. When my Vanguard attacks, it does not go off because I did not read my card. So this is just 10.
Ooh.
I will do a 5k intercept.
Fair enough.
Oh, Maz not taking the chance here. And once again, prioritizing defense whenever he gets a chance. And that was a good intercept because the draw trigger could have broken through. But still, a draw trigger for Scarlet, definitely helpful depending on what he draws here.
Oh well,
Alright.
we got. At least he made you burn a heal. That's always good.
Okay. Now it's time for grade 3. Discarding.
Okay.
And he rides.
Alright, let's have some fun. Start with another order here.
Vital Blaze Blast, once again being able to get a card here. And while he's resolving Vital Blaze Blast, let me explain how Estacion as Vanguard works, because it can get a little complicated for people who don't know because of the different threshold increments to it. So Estacion says if you have a blast token, when you would make a plant gauge with this plant token, it becomes a gauge for your blast token. So you make a plant token, you counterblast 1. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck and add any one that you want to the hand without revealing it to the opponent. But if you have 6 or more cards in your gauge, you can look at the top 5 instead. If you whiff on it, you can make the gauge happen. So regardless, you'll get a plus from it, and it's a very strong tutor plus, and it really favors you having a larger ramp tool so that you can increase your search threshold. Alright, calling the Autumn Dragon once more. Autumn Dragon being able to get the token immediately. Not just a good field building, but interestingly enough, this is also a multi-attack enabler because when it's placed during the battle phase, it can still make the token. This is a pretty classic 5-attack turn that Estacion is capable of. It opts to go there. Estacion being able to get itself another card to the hand, and then we're going to see what we're going to build. Estacion's only got 5 cards in the hand, and it's already used up most of its advantage engine stuff, so if it tries to get a 6 card, it's going to have to eat some stuff into the gauge here. Let's see what he goes for, though.
This is gonna be a weird play for me, but I think it's what I want to do. So we're going to call Alvina. Alvina skill, Energy Blast 3. We're gonna call out the mushrooms.
Oh, I see.
Here. Yeah, that makes sense.
Mushroom skills, put it to soul, and you get 2 tokens.
Honestly, fair.
Ooh, alright. Making some more tokens.
Activating the blast token, putting all 3 tokens into soul to draw a card.
Oh, and this is what he was hoping for, because now that he's put those into the gauge, he can then proc the skill from the drop zone. Counterblasting 1 to call back the Autumn Dragon and generate yet another token to rebuild back that field.
And
That's
I'm going
nasty.
to... I'll call the token actually over here to Alvina's column.
Alright, and Alvina also has her own continuous skill. See, with Alvina live, if you have 4 or more units, so like a Keter condition essentially, it gets 2,000 continuously, which means now it can make a magic number against a 10k base. He's really thought about this turn carefully. He's got the maximum ramp available in addition to a really nice board here, and he hardly had to use up the hand to make this happen. And now here comes Blast Token with 9 gauges in there. We're looking at a whopping plus 15 to the front row against a grade 2. This is insane.
That's nutty to think you hit those kind of numbers this early on while your opponent's on grade 2.
Right, and
Estacion
can get rid of 2 gauge to multi-attack, so this is going to be 4 to 5 attacks against a grade 2 with those numbers. This is absolutely brutal.
Yep, so we're between 20 at your van right now.
Thinking right now is 20, you said?
Yep.
Alright.
Interesting choice for Scarlight. Is he going to try to deny heals or get his own, or is he going to try and guard here and take bigger attacks?
I mean, no matter what, he's put into a really awkward spot depending on what his hand is looking like. Because the thing about Varga is, like, you want a lot of pieces in your hand so you can rush down as soon as you hit Varga, but at the same time, if you're being rushed down yourself and you need to be able to guard, it's kind of a double-edged sword, if you will. So,
Very classic for something like Varga when you think about it thematically.
yeah.
Okay.
A really big decision moment here.
I will... The fact that you got to 9 is annoying, but... If we go there, you would go down to 7, so you go down to 10. Actually, yeah, I think it's better to just take this now. So,
Alright, Varga Dragon is opting to take.
Alright.
No trigger to help out there.
Ooh. And having... Yeah, that's rough.
That's a bad damage check, but so be it. Nothing you could have done about it.
So 25 to Van here.
25. I will... Yeah, I'm gonna take this one too. Draw trigger.
Getting a draw trigger here, that could clutch up.
I was gonna say that should help defensively just a little bit at least.
Yeah, this could thwart the poke attack pattern that Maz might be attempting here. All right, now for those at home who don't know, there's actually a little bit more power here, just hidden in the background. See, Vital Blaze Blast has a skill when it's discarded as a gauge to give 5,000 power to any of your units. So that means that with discarding not one, but 2 Vital Blaze Blasts in this instance, he can give 2 increments of 5k to any units of his choice, and calling the Autumn Dragon to just get another plant token right over there. Yeah, there's a lot of beat down here. Oh, and if there's the chance to hit a critical trigger on top of that, this could go from 0 to 100 real fast. Well, I mean, it's already 80 as it is.
At this rate.
So 28 to your Van.
All right.
28. I will just PG this, and I will discard Flare Veil for cost.
Alright, first check is a PG. Second check is Persona.
All right, no triggers there, so that could give a little sigh of relief over here for year-old Boulder X, especially because he's sitting at 20k. Autumn Dragon's looking to be as a 30k attacker. Meanwhile, the plant token column is going to be a 35k attack, a little bit bigger.
Plant token's only 25.
25. I will... And Autumn is 30?
Yeah.
Alright. Yeah, I kinda have to do it like this. So, 25. I'll just throw a heal trigger down in front of that.
All right, guarding that attack.
And 30.
30. I will throw a critical trigger in front of that for 35.
Ooh, the
right.
defensive draw trigger definitely being able to give him the numbers necessary to block this early onslaught, but now damage zone is 2 to 4. But Varga Dragritter definitely has some really strong pieces on the board, especially because Boulder X can be included in this estimate.
Stand and draw. Alright.
Have to step on the gas real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Okay. We'll discard... Yeah, we'll discard a crit to ride into Varga. And Boulder X will call himself through his own skill. I will activate Radiance Caliburn to draw 2 cards.
Ooh, Radiance Caliburn proc here. Unfortunately, it means no counter charge in this game state, but getting the draw 2 should be helpful, if nothing else. All right.
Yeah, he's going to need to build up that hand if he wants to potentially survive a Persona Ride turn in the future. Assuming he doesn't just kill right here, you know?
Yeah, there is always a chance, depending on Varga can see the nuts in his drive checks. Now, one of the useful things about the heat stamping here is that its true value can be shown, because heat stamping is a very versatile card, because even in the back row, it can move itself from the soul in order to give power to Varga Dragritter. And then that in combination with Storm Slasher, which can be retired from the front row just to move to the back row, means that he could really move that column any way that he sees fit and still leave room for other stuff on the board in case he wants a bit more of a versatile attack pattern, or he could just try to go for the maximum column numbers. The timing with heat stamping is that when the Vanguard attacks, but that means you can do it after Varga Dragritt's skill. So if heat stamping moves to the back row, it won't get annihilated by Varga Dragritter to be able to see the 2 or less rear guard. So it seems like Scarlet has the perfect board state to be able to utilize that. But what else is in his hand? Because he's got a couple of empty circles there.
I mean, it's not... Well, here's the issue that I'm noticing too. Heat Stamping is a nice card to throw in, but I feel like he'll have to overcommit a little just to make like the multi-attacking option a little more viable here. Because even if he switches the Storm Slasher up front, Storm Slasher isn't hitting the Vanguard, and you really need to be hitting Vanguard at this point. So he's probably going to have to potentially overcall and work some magic to at least do something.
Ooh, but is he able to afford an overcall at this game state here?
I will choose to activate my energy generator to blast 7 to draw another card.
Alright, energy blasting 7. Let's see what he can get here.
Okay. That does, yeah, might as well go like that. Alright. Yeah, we'll just have to... Thinking on what else to do. Drop zone is basically dead. There's not really much of a next turn I could take, so I just have to leave it like that. Alright. I will attack with Boulder Axe for 15 to your Vanguard.
I am going to intercept.
Alright. At the end of the battle, Boulder Axe attacked, since my Vanguard is Varga. He retires himself to draw a card. Okay, I will then swing 18k to your Vanguard.
I will be taking this hit.
No!
Over trigger!
Over trigger live! Oh, but this is an interesting time to hit the over trigger, because now Varga Dragritter won't be able to get any damage off unless it sees his own over trigger. But the bright side for Scarlet here is that without any counterblast, he can't rely on the skills of the Autumn Dragon or on Estacion's CB to get more cards. So this is a trippy time to see that OT.
It's interesting because no matter what, like, I think, yeah, this is quite the wild game state. Like, on one hand, like, it sucks that you're not dealing any damage this turn potentially, but on the other hand, like, you may actually be able to, like, withstand it based off the hand you've potentially got.
Yeah, it all depends.
Okay, I will swing with Varga. I will use Varga's, actually before Varga's skill, Heat Stamping Moose of Soul plus 10k, and then Varga's skill, Retire Front Row. So, he just gets 10k, but still ain't hitting. So this is just 23 with Twin Drive.
I will no-guard this and hope that you see your OT.
Fair. First check, nothing. Second check, nothing.
That's dry.
Alright. Restand, poke, just for fun.
Sure.
Anyway.
You
pass
got the option, might as well.
Yeah, fair. Go ahead.
And as the turn passes, it's back over to Estacion. Over trigger making a mess of another game state. Classic.
Yep. I'm gonna go ahead and Persona right here. Right, so currently 10k to the front row. I haven't added in the gauges yet, but I will in a second. First things first, we're going to use the order once more.
Now, one of the key notes about Estacion as a deck is that even though he can't use skills like Autumn Dragon inherently to revive itself, he can still go for a 5 attack turn without utilizing any counterblast, which is quite wicked here. It makes me wonder if the resource economy management of Estacion was designed correctly on Bushiroad's part here. But having said that, this is the reality of the deck right now, so Maz is going to be able to benefit a lot from seeing that OT to just shut down Varga Dragritter. Alright, and now the blast token is going to assume more cards in order to draw.
Alright, I forgot to do my... No, I did my charge sheet for this turn. I'm going to call Alvina now. Last 3. And Alvina is going to call... Do that, I could do that. You got a lot of cards in your hand, though, so do I want to do that? Yeah, I'll actually call out Mushrooms once more. And I will do the Mushroom skill, putting it into Soul and getting 2 more tokens.
Alright, being able to build a board just like that.
Very little committal, too.
Oh yeah, 100%. This is the reason why Estacion is actually a viable deck in the meta right now. It can produce so much out of basically nothing, which is sort of still a key of strength right now. It's kind of interesting because despite how it was in older Vanguard plays, including up to V series, right? It seems like the true power of being able to just create these sort of fake units on the board for practically free has really come to bloom in this era here. They're the most impactful thanks to just how strong they are in the early game. And this just keeps maintaining. And especially against a control deck, Varga Dragritter has no choice but just to sit there and take it. Oh man, a mere plant token on its own for 30,000. Wow.
Yep, 30k plant token.
Alright, I'm probably gonna need some kind of miracle here. Thinking on my options. 30. Okay. If I get a defensive, then that'll do that. If I don't, then kind of screwed. Alright. Well, actually, because Elvina and how many? You have one Blaze Blast in your thing, so you can just supplement that. Okay. And with Elvina's, okay, so these are going to be the smallest, technically. 30... I kind of have to do it like this. Guard with the crit for 28, and then guard with Persona Shield Generator for 33.
Alright.
Alright. This will swing for another 30.
I guard with another crit, and have to get rid of Ashura now.
One of the cards with the best artwork in this entire game, yes.
That is true.
Swing with Estacion. Skill, I am going to get rid of 1, get rid of 2, and I'm not calling from deck, I will be calling from drop, though.
Alright.
Opting once more for the 5 attack pattern. This is a bit of an interesting call from Maz here, considering that one of Estacion's specialties is being able to call back that Winter Dragon, which, once again, for people who don't know, the Winter Dragon is a very strong card. When it's placed, you have 5 or more gauge, and it's placed by card ability, you can grant it a extra critical. This is something that Estacion has access to try and zone out people who are at 4 or less damage, particularly if they're right at 4 damage, which Scarlight's at. But instead he decided to opt for the poke numbers, so rather than zoning out, he's going in for the kill.
So, because I did the 2, that's now -5 here, so we are only going to be swinging for 1838 to the Vanguard.
38.
Which I think in this situation, I think it's fine no matter what. Like, you recognize the fact that your opponent has 5 cards in hand, so ideally you're kind of just trying to push for game here.
Right, with Varga Dragritter having basically nothing left on board and not many recovery options, if you just demand more or less the entire hand there, what's Varga going to be able to do with the comeback here?
My only real way to survive this is by hitting a heal and you hitting no crits. That's my only real way of surviving this. So go ahead.
Alright. Well, let's see what happens. First check, that's a Persona. So good for you so far. Second check, there's a critical.
Ooh, and a critical trigger to take him down. Now it's up to the damage checks.
Alright, I'm gonna need 2 heals now. So that's need to survive. That's a blank. And drive 2.
Ooh, there's a heal.
Oh, a heal trigger coming on in hot. All right. It's a start, but he's going to need a little more based on his own declarations.
Need to recover that. All right. So, and Varga gets 10.
And if I'm doing my math correctly, let me just double check to make sure. Yeah, these are both 45s.
Oh my gosh.
Both demanding 25k shield just to survive. It may be possible, but is Scarlet willing to give up the hand for that?
He may not have a choice if he has to.
Like I said, I did need 2 heals, because if my plan banked on him not getting any crits, yeah. I kind of have to take this.
And the damage check. And that's the game right there. A bit of an anticlimactic finish, one would say, but Estacion definitely dominating and showing that stability trumps aggression here. What a... honestly, not what you would call a very pitched battle, unfortunately, but it's one of those times where it just happens. Still, regardless, well done to both players. They gave it the best that they could, and with that, we now know confirmation that we have Estacion making it to the top cut and doing his victory lap across on his way up there. And what did you think of the fight there, co-commentator?
Oh my god, that felt, to be honest, that felt completely one-sided. Like, I feel like once he hit grade 3, it was lights out. Like, and I think the Overtrigger really did swing the match in his favor too, because it's like, there's no guarantee that, like, well, we know from drive checks it was kind of just a bad time all around, but, like, just the raw aggression of this deck is gross. Like, if there's like one deck to come out of this block that probably has a chance at winning the whole thing, it's probably this one. Just the aggression, the overall advantage you're gonna gain. Like, and I think what also made it worse for him was the fact that he went first. Like, going first with this deck is nasty.
Yeah. And if that wasn't enough, Estacion also has like another huge advantage here, which is that the blast token is an X factor that just like shuts down a lot of field control centric decks, because and one of the other things that's very awkward about this is, as we already know, another one of the key decks in this tournament right now, Alcalibra isn't looking so hot, and neither is Gondiva's already been knocked out. So there's a possibility here that there's no Dragon Empire in the top cut. If that comes to pass, then the main counter to Blast Token just goes bye-bye, because only that nation can run that. So Estacion might have the red carpet, pun intended, to make its way all the way to the top now. So this was quite the beatdown. So for those out there, especially our competitors who's trying to research based on this match, watch out, because Maz is coming for you. And with that said, thank you to everyone who came to watch this feature match. If you want more feature matches like these, then definitely stick around and turn on the notification bell and subscribe if you haven't already, because we do have another feature match for this round coming up, as well as all the top cut fights in succession. So if you're hankering for more, then don't worry, we've got some more coming your way. But if you're looking for other Vanguard content in the meantime, then look no further. This channel has all sorts of Vanguard content, whether it's discussion videos, top 10s, custom card reviews, anime reactions, fights like these. We got it all, so check it out. And of course, to give a quick plug in, check out Dragnoa's Shadows YouTube channel. He also runs a Vanguard channel. He's definitely more on the premium side, so then definitely go ahead and check out his side, because he does a lot of great premium content. So definitely give a brother some help if you could. And with that said, take care and God bless.
Catch you guys later. Bye.